and from the farming lowlands of Cullyhanna, well, a wee bit of highland in there as well, I take you to the highlands and lowlands of Scotland. Rabbi, as he's affectionately known, Rabbi Burns and Ursula Vicateer. You're welcome. Vicateer, you're so welcome. And you're the council's, Newry District Council's officer for the Scots community.
I am, yes. I'm actually the Irish Language Development Officer.
As well?
Yes.
So you're straddling. We should have got you down to the Haas talks. You could have brought everybody together. But isn't it lovely that we're looking after the Irish language end of things and also looking after the Scots Gaelic?
Well, the Ulster Scots.
The Ulster Scots.
Yes.
But isn't that great that we're doing that?
Yeah.
There is harmony in the valley of Newry and Mourne, which is a lovely thing to see. Is it the 25th is the Burns Night Supper?
Yes, it is. But the council's having theirs on Friday. And we'll have haggis, neeps and tatties.
Do you go for the haggis that's you get in the Sainsbury's or the Tesco's of this world? Or is it, do you really need the sheep's stomach and build it,
Well, ours is a special order, and it's served with a whiskey sauce.
Why bother with the sauce end of it? I thought you just poured the whiskey on it. That was it, But I do like haggis. Burns was the greatest of the Scottish bards, wasn't he?
Yes. Well, I mean, he's known in Scotland simply as the Bard.
The Bard, yeah. And Robbie is his formal title, but affectionately they call him Rabbi.
Rabbi.
It's a nicer kind of ring to it, isn't it? Rabbi Burns. Yeah. And then there's the toast to the haggis, isn't there?
Yes.
You don't know that, do you?
Haggis.
The address, no. Can you do it?
For yes, on a sonsy face, great chieftain of the bunny race. And
the rest. Yeah, you remember a bit of it. You did better than I did. I couldn't remember a bit of that.
Yeah.
And
there's also the Selkirk Grace.
The Selkirk Grace, that's a nice one. It's about having food and can he eat. Did you know that one? No, it's not there either. No, it's too much to ask you because that's very, very, very important and very detailed and all the rest. You can't carry all of that on the tip of your tongue. But who was Burns? What's his background?
Well, he was the son of a tenant farmer, and he grew up in very troubled times in Scotland, and he worked on the farm. His father died when he was very young, and he worked on the farm, but his parents also made sure that he got a good education. And a bit like the hedge schools that we had here.
Yes, of course.
He received an education in maths and English, in Latin and Greek.
They were very far-sighted people.
Yes, they were. They were.
And common farmers.
Common farmers, yes. But Burns would have been a child of the Enlightenment. Where they believed that the important thing was that people would learn to think for themselves.
Yeah.
And that
was growing out of the revolt and the problems that Scotland was experiencing at that time.
Yes.
And the Enlightenment is the catch-all title for the movement to wisdom.
Yes.
Wow, I tell you. Yeah. And the farmer then became a scholar, and the scholar became a better scholar, and also became a poet and a songster.
He did indeed, and he always leaned towards poetry, and he would have been writing poetry, and then he was also known as a great womanizer.
Wow!
And at one stage, he had hoped to take up a post in Jamaica. And to make, it was a post of £30 a year or whatever, working on a plantation. And to get the money for his passage, at the suggestion of a local scholar, he decided to publish some of his poems, which he did, and they were so successful that the first run of the poetry was sold out
Goodness
completely.
gracious.
And on the back of that, he didn't actually go to
Go,
Jamaica.
he stayed, he stayed.
And he stayed and continued to write his poems.
Yeah.
He's in more recent years, in the 20th century, he was seen as the people's poet because he wrote about the poetry, the landscape, and the difficult times that the poor rural community of Scotland.
It's a kind of a universal theme for folk who are of the land, who are laid low with poverty and with little. That's people all over the world who can identify with those sentiments. And yeah, as a person, we mentioned him being a womanizer. That's the allegation. But would he have been successful in that role? Had he a large retinue of lovers or not?
He did.
He did?
He did.
God, he's a good lad.
And that's seen in his poems. My love is like a red,
red rose. Yeah.
And he fathered various children to various women.
Yeah.
And he took up with one particular woman, Jean, and she gave birth to twins. And then her father did not approve of the relationship, so he actually wrote out a script that Burns tore up, which was the destruction of the relationship.
Oh, goodness.
And he pursued other women.
Yeah, it's a very unromantic thought to believe that the script written by the father of the beautiful woman can possibly end a relationship.
Well, they had a different way of doing things in those days.
I wonder if we got any of his music. Have we anything at all? What have we got, Andrew? Love is like a red, red rose. We have it. We have it. Andrew McCracken has found it for us, you know. So, Andrew, let's do it. That'll be good. We'll listen to this. Wow, how beautiful. It was lovely, wasn't it? Yes. Absolutely. Ursula Vicateer is with me from Newry and Mourne District Council. She's the officer there who looks after things related to the Irish language and to the Ulster-Scots connection. All of that's there for you. And we're looking ahead to the 25th of the month when it's Burns Night, and there will be the Burns Night suppers all over the land across the water in Scotland. Burns was quite a political poet, wasn't he? He
was, yes. And he, you know, when you look at the time through which he lived through the French Revolution, and in the aftermath of the Second Jacobite Revolution, when it became illegal to wear the traditional Highland costume and to be affiliated with a particular clan. Not unlike the situation here as well, and his poetry grew out of that.
He had to keep a weather eye for the British, because if they'd come over the horizon and he had said the wrong thing, or if he had published the wrong thing and they knew about it, he would have been lifted and taken away.
Yes, he would have, and been sent to a penal colony.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
As many of the political agitators at the time were sent to.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But he a lot of his poetry, a lot of his very political poetry was not actually published until after his death.
Yeah, but it showed a great head on the man, a great wisdom in the man, that he actually knew what he could put out there, and he knew probably well that the more important statements he had to make may well have had that importance in the time to come when he was gone. He was, in a sense, leaving his ongoing commentary for the future.
Yes, and he was aware of that, because it was actually, it is believed that some of his last words were that he would be better known within 100 years of his death. And I don't think he was talking about him as a poet, but more his political observations on the situation in Scotland.
Yeah. And now Scotland this year is going for independence. The ghost of Rabbie Burns will spread its wings and fly high. Ursula, thank you very, very much indeed for coming in. And let people try it out for themselves. Turnips and potatoes, to put it in our parlance, and wherever you can buy a haggis. Certainly, I know last year they had them down in the Keys, and perhaps Tesco will have them this year as well. Thank you for coming in. We'll play you some more music. Garamila Mayogat. Could you help me say that? Garamila Mayogat.
Garamila Mayogat.
I'm not too bad. Not too bad for a fellow.